What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it. Also, hit that post notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. Do me a big favor, guys. Get yourself down in the description box. I want you guys to consider clicking on those first two links. Matter of fact, click on all the links, but specifically those first two links. And I'm gonna tell you why. The good folks at Moo, first link, is willing to give you guys up to $1,100 in cash reward and NVIDIA stock shares. All you got to do to qualify for this is open up a new Moo brokerage account. And if you put $1,000 initially in your Moo brokerage account, you're going to get yourself up to $120 in cash reward from the folks at Moo. Now, there are other deposit requirements in order to qualify for the NVIDIA stock reward. So check out the details on that. But at the end of the day, man, it's up to you if you want to check it out. I've been rocking with Moo using their brokerage app since 2024, and I'm happy with it. It's a self-directed brokerage app that allows me to make fractional share trading and do a lot of other different things. You can go check that out yourself. I'm no expert on the Moo brokerage app. I'm just the guy that actually uses the brokerage app to make investments, and they've asked me to share my link with you guys. And of course, if you open that new brokerage account, like I said, and you put at least $1,000 in there, you're going to get up to about $120 in cash rewards. And then if you put additional deposits in, you certainly can also qualify for some NVIDIA stock reward. So check that out. Next thing I want you to check out down in the description box is the Moo brokerage link as well. The next thing I want you to check out, guys, down there in the description box is the Wealth Builders Financial Community on Patreon link. So I've already asked you to check out the Moo. Now I'm gonna ask you to check out the Patreon link, which is for the Wealth Builders. That's my financial community on Patreon. All we do in that community is help each other build wealth, guys. None of us are experts. We don't try to be experts. No one tries to tell you what to do. But you got to understand, when you got a couple thousand people in a financial community headed in the same direction, listen, man, all we're doing in there is like sharing best practices. Now, every Monday night, we have a 8 p.m. Eastern time live stream just for the Wealth Builders on the Patreon platform. And every single day, we have a live community chat where all the Wealth Builders can come in there and, share their ideas. They can share their best practices. They can tell you what's working and what's not working. And man, let me tell you, it's a good time. Right now, as I'm doing this video, I have Wealth Builders in that community chat exchanging ideas and helping one another build wealth, man. And really, that's what it's all about, right? No one wants to be out here alone by themselves without a group of people around them to help them with, things that may come up. Again, no experts. No one's trying to tell you what to do. But when people are sharing best practices, golden nuggets, tips, what's working, what's not working, you see where I'm going with that. So if you want to, check out the Wealth Builders. That's the second link. It'll take you over to Patreon, sign up, and then send me a DM on Patreon, letting me know you're there so I can say thank you for joining us, and then let's go to work. Remember, that's the only place you can reach me as it relates to having a direct conversation with me is on Patreon, right? So if you want to have a direct conversation with me, be able to ask me all the questions you want to ask me. Again, I'm no expert, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not trying to play a financial advisor. So no, I'm not. No, what I will share with you is what I do. What I do over the last 30 years to put me in a position where I have more time, more freedom, and more choices in my life. So if you want to know what I did to have those three things, more of those three things, then certainly come over to Patreon, sign up, and come join us. Well, guys, I want to have a conversation today with you, and it's basically about, never work again. And I know some people hear that and they say, what is this guy talking about, never work again? Well, guys, I had that vision for myself 5.5 years ago. I was 49 years old. I had been in banking for about 25 years, and I was working, 50 to 60 hours a week. And I was almost 50 years old, and I was still working 50 to 60 hours a week in corporate, in commercial banking. And I said to myself, listen, man, how much longer can you do this? And I said, I don't want to do it any longer, but sometimes you do what you got to do until you can afford to do what you want to do. So I started thinking to myself, how do I get out of this thing? How do I control 100% of my time? How do I, control my own financial destiny? How do I have more time, more choices, and more freedom in my life? And what I decided to do was start my own business. See, when you start your own business, a couple of things can happen for you. Number one, you can help people. And if you help enough people, guess what happens to you? You help yourself financially. So you can help enough people by creating a product or a service that then you can offer to people to solve their problem. See, a lot of people have problems that they need solving. And that's what I decided to do. So at 49 years old, I said, listen, I got a skill set. Why don't I take that skill set and solve some problems for people? And that's what I did, created my own business. And now, almost 6 years later, I control 100% of my time. I control my own financial destiny. And I've never worked for anybody else since. Never worked for anybody else since. And what I do right now, I don't consider work. See, I traded in working 50 to 60 hours a week for working 5 to 10 hours a week. 50 to 60, 5 to 10. The difference is that 5 to 10 hours a week that I do, I control that. I do it whenever I want to. I do it whenever I want to. So I have this business that I work 5 to 10 hours a week. And guess what? I control 100% of my time, my own financial destiny, more time, more choices, and more freedom. I can help people. I can do whatever I want to do, man. And I make more money now than I made in 25 years in corporate banking. I've made more money in 5 years than I made in 25 years in corporate banking. In commercial banking. And again, guys, I'm not saying you'll do the same thing. I'm giving you my personal opinion on what happened to me. I'm not telling anybody that it will happen for them. I'm telling you what happened to me. What happened to me. So I've never worked again in about 6 years. I haven't worked in 6 years. Some of y'all might say, well, I get 5 to 10 hours a week, man, that's work. No, it's not work to me. Might be work to you, but it ain't work to me. See, work to me is when I don't control my time. See, work is when I got to get up, put on clothes, go to somebody else's job, sit there for 8 to 10 hours a day to get paid. See, that's work. Why? Because they control what? My financial destiny. See, I'm trading time for money. That's work. I don't do that anymore. So in my situation, I don't work for anybody else anymore. What would life be like for you if you didn't have to work ever again? What would life be like? Now, here's what I also want to run by you guys. Here's another way I've created a situation where I don't have to work ever again. Never have to work again. So the first way I transitioned to never having to work again is I created my own business. So I created what? A solution to solve a problem. What was the problem? The lack of financial literacy in America. There's a lack of financial literacy in America, whether we want to believe it or not, it is. And I've been doing this for almost 6 years, so I'm here to give you my personal opinion of 6 years of helping people. There is a problem. So I said, okay, that's the problem. Lack of financial literacy is the problem. See, I identified the problem. Now I said to myself, do I have a solution to solve that problem? Now, I'm not an expert in anything, guys. But I do have 25 years in commercial banking, so I know how money moves around the banking system, and I also know how people borrow money to make money because I did it for 25 years. Second thing is I said, well, how am I going to find these people to solve their problems? See, those are two things you got to be able to solve. One, you got to come up with a product that can solve problems, and then you got to go find the people to actually let them know you have this product or service, this solution to do what? Solve their problem. So I said, how do I do that? I said, social media. Matter of fact, it's free. I can get on all my social media platforms and just tell people what my solution is and how my solution potentially could help them solve their problem. So that's what I did. Started this YouTube channel, redirected it to what? People looking to get some level of financial literacy to help solve their what? Financial literacy problem. People, there are millions and millions of people out there that need this help. And again, I'm not an expert, but what I offer people is a solution that worked for me. Can't guarantee it'll work for you, but I'll share it with you. See, that's the solution. When I go to Walmart or when I go to any retail store, when I go online to buy a product, nobody guarantees me it's going to work for me, but they're just telling me, hey man, here's what we think. And here are some testimonials right here that back up that. We don't know if it'll work for you, but here are some testimonials where it has worked for other people. That's all you can do, man. So that's what I did. I got on these social media platforms and boom, started putting out this content about real estate investing. Nothing complicated, guys. I just explained to people how I would take one single family home every 2 years. I would go buy it, put a tenant in it, collect rent, pay the expenses with the rent collected, and then just wait for it to appreciate in value. I just did that every 2 years. I didn't have a lot of money. So how did I do it? I went and used 5-to-1 leverage through the banking industry. See, I was in the banking business, so I knew I could go leverage money. As long as I had good credit, I had verifiable income, and I had some down payment money, they would lend me 80% of the purchase price, and I would come in with 20%. So I started doing that. I had that experience. Did that for over 20-something years. Very simple, very clean, good neighborhood, not some wealthy neighborhood, just a decent neighborhood where people had a desire to live. That's all I did. So boom, I had that experience. And then I had the experience of investing in the stock market on my own. I didn't use a financial advisor. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that. Go get you a financial advisor if you're not happy or if you're not confident you can make the right decisions. Get you a licensed financial advisor. I didn't need that because I knew what I was going to be doing was going to be pretty simple. I was going to go to get the very best broad-based stock market ETFs that I could find with the best performance, and that's all I was going to put my money in. I wasn't going to do any individual stocks. Boom, just the ETFs. S&P 500 ETF, information technology ETF, total stock market ETF. I just wanted the broader stock market, and I wanted to narrow it down to a specific industry that I liked on one of the ETFs, and that's what I did. So I started putting money into this S&P 500 ETF. I started putting money into this total stock market ETF. Started putting money into this information technology ETF, and just kept doing it month after month after month after month for 20, 30 years, man. Still doing it to this day. 30 years later, I'm still doing the same playbook. And for me, it's worked. I can't guarantee it'll work for you, but for me, it's worked. But I've developed a skill set. You see where I'm going with this? I had the real estate skill set. I had developed the paper asset skill set. I already had the banking experience, so I knew how to borrow money, leverage money, 5-to-1, all that stuff I knew how to do. I knew something about credit. I knew something about down payment. I knew something about what? Verifiable income. I knew exactly the things I needed to have in place in order for a bank to lend me money. So I shared that information with people. That's all I do. I share that information with people. So I created this business. And now this business that I work in 5 to 10 hours a week does what for me? It gives me more time, more freedom, and more choices in my life. That's my business here on YouTube. That's my business on TikTok. That's my business on Instagram. That's my business on Facebook. I just share information with people to help them with financial literacy. No expert, just a guy that's been doing it 30 years, and I'm willing to share. And in turn, helping people, I help me. Why? Because I got an audience of people. And audience is an asset, guys. If you got a big enough audience, that's an asset. Why? Because there are other companies out there that say, oh my goodness, this guy got this big audience. We'd like to be able to share with that audience our solutions to maybe some problems that they have in their life. But the only way to get to my audience is through me. See, audience is an asset class, guys. And if you know how to use your audience, number one, to help them, in turn, what do? You help yourself, right? So I use my audience by doing what? Sharing information with them that potentially can help them, that they can use to maybe better their financial situation. And then I benefit and help myself because why? There are others out there that want access to my audience. And I'm fine with that. Now I get to control who gets access to my audience, right? But I don't have a problem with other companies out there or other people that can provide solutions that can help people. That's what it's all about. It's about helping people. You help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. That's how it works. That's how it works in my business. So that's my business that I've created over the last 6 years that allows me more time, more freedom, and more choices in my life. Now, the other piece was the investment piece. So I said to myself, man, if I can build enough wealth through investing, dollar cost averaging in big boy ETFs, some individual stocks, if I can build enough wealth, then that wealth can create income. And guess what? I don't even have to work that 5 or 10 hours a week no more. I zero. Because see, my assets can generate enough income to take care of me. So what do you mean by that, Richard? How does your assets get you out of the rat race? How do your assets get you off the treadmill? Let me walk you through it. Let me give you a hypothetical. This is just a hypothetical, guys. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. I'm giving you a hypothetical situation that may or may not work for you. But I'm going to give you the hypothetical. Let's say hypothetically, Richard Fain needs $100,000 a year to live on. I'm going to just give you this hypothetical. Let's just say I need $100,000 a year to live on, right? So let's say that comes up to what? I'm just going to round it up. Let's say I need $120,000 a year to live on. So that's $10,000 a month. That's what I need to live on, to pay for my lifestyle, keep the roof over my head, right? All that good stuff. $10,000 a month. So I look at the rule of 200. And the rule of 200 says, listen, whatever you need in projected income to take care of yourself, times that by 200. So that's what I do. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how do I get to this financial freedom thing and not have to work anymore. I built my business. I'm doing my thing with my business. I'm giving it 5 to 10 hours a week. It's taking care of me, doing great. But guess what? I don't want to do that either for the rest of my life. I want to do something else. I want to do zero, nothing. I want to be able to travel 12 months out of the year. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do nothing on social media. I don't want to do nothing but travel 12 months out of the year. How do I get to that $120,000 a year so I can do that? How do I do that over the next 10 years? What do I got to do over the next 10 years to provide $120,000 a year for me without me doing nothing other than just looking at the direct deposit? How do I do it? Okay, rule of 200. So what does the rule of 200 say? take whatever that dollar amount is and times it by 200. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take my $10,000 a month that I need in 10 years. Now I'm going to give myself 10 years to do this, guys. I need 10 years. 10 years. So $10,000 a month I'm going to need in 10 years. Times that by 200. So now the rule of 200 says I need $2 million. That's what the rule of 200 says. It says, Richard, if you want $10,000 a month in income, $120,000 a year in income, you're going to need about $2 million in your pot of gold at the end of the rainbow nest egg in 10 years. So I said to myself, well, okay, rule of 200, but I mean, how do I get to the, how do I get to the 2 million? Well, we're going to answer that. Just hold on, Richard. You're going too fast. 2 million is what you need. So okay, we're going to answer the question how I get to the 2 million in a second, right? Yeah, we're going to answer that. But for right now, concentrate on the 2 million, Richard. So you need 2 million. Now, if you get to that 2 million, then what are you going to do? How do I get the income out of it? Well, if you get to the 2 million, then this is how you get the income out of it. You take that $2 million, Richard, hypothetically, you take the 2 million, and what do? You go put it in something that will pay you at least a 6% rate of return, pre-tax. Well, man, how in the world am I going to find that? Well, it's plenty of things out there, Richard. You can go buy you a piece of real estate with that 2 million bucks, maybe a 10 unit, a 20 unit in a decent neighborhood where people need a place to live. They'll pay you rent. You're going to own the property free and clear, so you won't have a mortgage on it because you got the 2 mil. Now, if you can get a 6% return on that 2 mil, you just did what? You just created $120,000 a year in income, Richard. Oh, what? Did I really? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. If you can get that 2 mil, times that by 6%, that's $120,000 a year in income, brother. Oh, my goodness. Oh, shoot. Okay, you mean to tell me I don't have to keep that money in the stock market or... No, you don't, sir. You can take that money, sir, and put it in a piece of real estate, maybe a 10 unit or a 20 unit. And guess what? People need a place to live. So there's always going to be demand for rental units. So go get you a 10 unit or a 20 unit, depending upon where you live in the country. Your $2 million could buy you one of those. And then that rental property can yield you a net 6% cash on cash return. That's $120,000 a year. You ain't got to never do nothing else another day in your life other than just sit back and enjoy life. Now, that's a hypothetical, guys. I'm not saying it'll work for you. I'm giving you the hypothetical, but I'm telling you how I perceive this thing to work. So I've defined what I need in order to give me more time, more freedom, and more choices in my life. I need 2 million bucks. That's what I need. And if I can get to that 2 million bucks, there's a historical precedence that says I could potentially get a cash on cash return of 6% if I buy a piece of real estate for income. Now, if I don't want to do the full real estate thing, what else could I do? I could potentially go find me a U.S. Treasury bond ladder. I can go get me a U.S. Treasury bond ladder and get me a blended 4%, blended 5%, potentially. I'm not sure if you can get a blended 6%. Probably not. Not in the prevailing rates today. But could you get a blended 4% Treasury bond ladder? Well, why would I do that? Well, it's backed by the full weight of the United States government. The only way you don't get paid is if there is no United States government, which I don't see that happening in the near future. So will there be a United States government in 10 years? Absolutely. Will it still be the dominant financial system in the world, the dominant economic system in the world, the dominant military in the world, the dominant country in the world? I believe so. Don't got a crystal ball, but I believe so. So I think the U.S. Treasury bond ladder could be an opportunity for me to put my money in something that's backed by the full faith strength of the United States government. That's a U.S. Treasury bond. I put them in a ladder. What does a ladder mean? They mature at different times. I don't do one, maybe I do 10 of them, and I give them, all of them have 1 year maturities. That's what they call a ladder. So I start at a 10-year, I start at and I work myself down the ladder. That's a ladder. Oh, I can do that too. Yeah, you can. There are other things out there that you could also do that could get you potentially, now, no guarantees, but potentially a higher rate of return. But you got to get a little creative, and you should go to a money manager or a financial advisor or somebody like that can help you with that, though. But I just wanted to give you a couple hypothetical examples of how Richard Fain is trying to build his pot of gold at the end of the rainbow so I can have more time, more freedom, and more choices in my life. Okay, Richard, I get it. Anybody can throw out $2 million. You told me about the 6% rate of return potentially with real estate and laddered treasury bonds and laddered CDs and other things out there that I could put the money. I get it. Now, please walk me through how you plan on getting this $2 million. What are you going to do to get the $2 million? Well, here's what I would do, guys. And again, this is my personal opinion. This is not financial advice. I cannot tell you what to do. I can't tell you if any of this will happen for you. You got to go out and figure that out for yourself. I'm walking you through a personal scenario for me, what I'm going to do, not you. Okay. Remember that business I told you about that I work 5 to 10 hours a week in that's generating this income for me because I help people. I help people through information. I've created this community that depends on me to show up here every day on YouTube, to show up every day on Instagram, to show up on TikTok, to show up on Facebook and provide them with information. They look forward to that. So what happens? There are advertisers who also want to get at those same people. So when I put a video up, guess what the advertisers do? They're like, well, hey, we like that concept. We'd like to help them with some solutions too. So they'll run an ad on the content. And I get a little cha-ching every time they run an ad on that content to my audience. Also, there are companies that'll come to me and say, hey man, we don't want to run no ad, but what we do want to do is have you try our product. And if you like it, offer it to your audience. They may like it too. And if they do like it, little cha-ching for you. That's called affiliate marketing, by the way. That's affiliate marketing. And then you're going to have a group of people that say, you know something? We'd like to be in a community and we want to rock with you and we want to have access to you. We like the information that you provide, even though we know you're not an expert, you're not a financial advisor. We know that. But we like being in a group of like-minded people who want to share ideas. See, I'm not getting that in the matrix. Ain't nobody sharing anything with me. I'm just out here as a lone wolf. I don't want to be a lone wolf anymore. I want to be in a community of people that can share things with me because, again, I'm not an expert either. I don't know. I'm just trying to get ideas that I can then go vet and make sure what works for me. But I want a group of people that makes me feel good. They're positive. They're dropping nuggets and tips. Oh, okay. Let me go ahead and start my own community. See, helping people. See, guys, there's nothing wrong. And sometimes people miss this. There's nothing wrong with getting paid when you add value. See, I don't get paid anything, guys, if I add no value. When you add value to the marketplace, you get paid. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's what I do. I get up every single day and 5 to 10 hours a week. I just try to add value. And as I add value, I get paid. And then when I get paid, guess what I do? I think about this pot of gold thing that I just got through running you through. I think about this hypothetical $2 million or whatever it is, right? That's a hypothetical number. I'm just throwing that out. I think about this $2 million. I say, okay, what am I do? I'm going to take this money that I'm earning from helping people solve problems. I'm helping people solve problems and I get paid for it. I'm not an expert. Don't try to be an expert, but I share information that people find helpful in their decision-making process, right? It's their decision-making process. I don't make decisions for people. What I do is I share information, and then they can take that information, keep what they need, throw away what they don't need. But I get paid for that. So I take the money that I get paid for helping people solve problems, and now I put it in something. See, I put it in paper assets again. Remember that? I told you I've been doing that for 30 years, big boy ETFs, some individual stocks. That's what I do. So I take that money and I say, well, okay, here are the 3 things that I like. Now let me go out and do some research on these 3 things. What am I looking for? Well, I'm looking for historical performance. I'm looking for historical performance. I'm looking for what they call expense ratios, or how much they're going to charge me to keep my money in that fund. And then I'm looking for what? The history of the fund. I want to know who is this fund? When did it start? How much money is under management? Again, guys, you don't have to be a professional or some financial advisor to go out and look for this information yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. If you feel more comfortable having a licensed financial advisor, please go get one. I'm okay with that. I got no problem with that. I'm comfortable doing this on my own. So I go out and look for those 3 things in any investment that I'm going to be investing in. So remember, this money that I'm earning from helping people solve problems, I want to take that money and put it in something that will multiply it for me while I sleep. So at night, when I'm getting my 7 or 8 hours worth of sleep, I want this money working for me, because remember, I'm trying to get to this hypothetical $2 million so I can get this hypothetical 6% rate of return, and I can get this hypothetical $120,000 a year in income with me doing nothing. And I want to do that over the next 10 years. So I take a certain amount of money every single month, and I put it into what I call Wealth Transfer Blueprint 1.0, which is a 50-30-20 investment strategy. Again, guys, that's my strategy. You figure out your own strategy. This is not me trying to tell you to do my strategy. It's not. I'm telling you what my strategy is to get to my goal. Because if I'm serious about having more time, more freedom, and choices, I better have a plan. See, a lot of people sit up here and talk about, oh, I don't never want to work again, but ain't got no plan to never work again. It would be in your best interest to have a plan if you never want to work again. You need a plan. Little coffee break. You need a plan. So I got a plan. My plan is get out here 5 to 10 hours a week, help people solve problems, get paid, take the money that I make by helping people solve problems, put it in something that will multiply it while I sleep. Boom. That's the plan. And I've identified a strategy that works for me. And it's called Wealth Transfer Blueprint 1.0. Any of my wealth builders in here, they'll know what I'm talking about. 50-30-20. 50% goes into a broad-based stock market ETF, like the S&P 500 ETF that tracks the S&P 500 index. Boom, 50% of this money that I make, that I invest, that's where it goes. 30% of the money goes to an information technology ETF. I like FTEC. That's the name of the fund. I'm not saying you need to like that, and I'm not telling you to go even look at that. I'm just telling you what I do. So 30% of the money goes there. And then 20% of the money goes to the Magnificent Seven, minus Tesla. So I've thrown Tesla out and I've added Palantir in my Magnificent Seven. See, I can create my Magnificent Seven out of whatever I want to, guys. I ain't got to do what somebody else do. I just create my own. And I call it whatever I want to call it. I call mine the Magnificent Seven. So 50-30-20. Oh, okay. So I take that money every month on the 15th of every month, and I put it in this strategy, this blueprint. And over the next 10 years, based on what history tells me, I should get an average rate of return between 7 and 10%. That's what history says now. I'm not sure I'll get that. But I'm telling you, when I go look at the numbers on history of the S&P 500 index, information technology ETF, the Mag 7, when I look at the history over the last 10 years, history says this is what I could potentially expect 7 to 10%. I also know the rule of 72 tells me, so a little research for you guys. Go out and look up rule of 200 and then go look up rule 72, the rule of 72. Those two things, go look them up when you have a second. Go on Google and just type them in, or speak it into your little microphone on Google when you get to the search bar. What is the rule of 200? What is the rule of 72? Boop, hit enter. ChatGPT or Google AI will give you the definition of it. Now you know. I ain't got time to go into all that today. But now you get it. So, rule of 72 also states, if I can get at least a 10% annualized rate of return, I can double my net worth in 7 years. Guys, this is not something that I'm pulling out of some rabbit hat. Go research it, please. Go look it up yourself. I keep telling y'all what the 1% do. See, the 1% know all of this. What I'm telling y'all, the 1% already know. They've been doing it for 1,000 years. They already know this. This is where the information comes in. I'm no expert. I'm not trying to be one. I'm just telling you, I've done a lot of research. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've done a lot of research, and my research is just my personal opinion. It don't mean it's going to happen for you. Don't mean it'll happen for me. But at least I got a plan. Most people don't have no plan. 150 million Americans in the United States got no retirement savings. Zero in their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Nothing. Nothing. So I'm here to tell you, most people don't have a plan. Only 10% of the population participates in the stock market. When you exclude 401ks. If you take out 401ks, 10% of the people in the country participate in a $58 trillion asset. 10% of the people. 90%, I don't know what they do. Sit around buying stuff that ain't gonna put no money in their pocket, other than take money out of their pocket. You better have a plan, guys. That's the urgent warning to all Americans who never want to work again. If you don't ever want to work again, put you a plan in place to get you off the hamster wheel, to get you out of the rat race. See, I put a plan in place, and I'm working my plan. The first step of the plan was to leave corporate America, where I was giving somebody else 50 to 60 hours a week to make them wealthy. Step one in the plan. I ain't doing that no more. Step one, get out of that corporate America making somebody else wealthy. Check. Step two, create your own online business where you can put 5 to 10 hours a week in it and make some money by helping people who have problems they need solving. Check. Step three, create a plan that multiplies that money that you make over here 5 to 10 hours a week. Find a plan that you can put that money in that multiplies it while you sleep, with you doing nothing. Check. Step four, take your asset, your net worth, and turn it into income. I haven't got to that check yet, so I'm at check 3. I got check 4 to go, and I'm working on it. Question is, what's your plan? What's your plan? I got time. It's a Friday morning at about 11 a.m. I control 100% of my time. I control my own financial destiny. I got nowhere else to be but right here talking to you good folks, drinking a cup of coffee. It's up to you. See, I made a decision in my life. I was very decisive. Wasn't none of that. Oh my God, how would I do that? I just figured it out. I started listening to people like me. They wasn't experts. They were just sharing ideas. And guess what I was doing? Oh, shoot, that dude can do it. I can do it. He ain't that smart. He ain't no smarter than me. He ain't no smarter than me. He ain't got a suit on. He ain't up here well-groomed. He don't use all the right vocabulary. He's just a regular guy that decided that he's going to change something in his life, and he did it. No obstacle was going to be too big for me to get through them first 3 checks. And I'm through the first 3, guys. I got 1 check left, and I'm working on it every single day, 5 to 10 hours a week, helping people solve problems. And at some point over these next 10 years, I'm going to get to that 4th check. And then I'm done. Hasta luegos. I'm out of here. But it doesn't matter what I'm doing. What matters is what you're doing. This is the greatest opportunity in history to build wealth. I shared with you guys yesterday, $84 trillion is going to be passed down from one generation of Americans, what they call baby boomers, to somebody else. 84 trillion. And I would guess, my educated guess is, there's only going to be about 10%, 15% of the population get that money. That's it. The other 80, 85% of the population ain't going to get into that wealth transfer. Because see, most people, they are short-term in nature. Most people are short-term in everything they do. They only think in terms of short-term. Very few people that think long-term. Very few people who can discipline themselves, be consistent, and be patient and build wealth over a long period of time the right way. Most people won't do that because it's short-term in nature. See, our society has programmed us to be short-term. They've programmed us to be instant gratification. They've programmed us to worry about other people's problems before we worry about our own. Go fight other people's battles before we fight our own internal battles. See, that's how we've been manipulated and programmed in our filter system. That's why 150 million Americans ain't got no retirement savings. None. Zero. That's why about 60% of Americans, if they hit a bump in the road, a financial emergency, they don't have $1,000 in their savings account to save them. That's why right now, and guys, I don't mean this in a disparaging way. Anybody can fall on hard times. I can, you can. I'm not saying it in a disparaging way with these statistics. I'm just telling you where we're at right now in our country. But a lot of us can change this. Now, we'll put it on the government. We'll put it on, oh, my mom and them, my dad and them, they didn't know nothing about financial literacy, so I don't know nothing. We'll put it on, we'll make every excuse in the book. Why? Because they programmed us to be a nation of excuse makers. See, we've been programmed by the 1% to be a nation of excuse makers. All we do is make excuses in this country. The majority of the people in this country just make excuses all day long. Nobody takes accountability for their own actions. No, well, it wasn't me. I mean, they made me do it. I was watching the podcast and the podcast made me do it. No. So at the end of the day, man, what are you going to do? You're going to sit around here and be short-term all your life, procrastinate all your life, make excuses all your life, work for the rest of your life. It's up to you, man. I'm not going to do any of that. I already told you I'm through the first 3 checks. I'm working on check number 4. Once I get check number 4 done, I'm out of here. Poof. Darkness. I'm gone. You better get a plan in place. Good news is you can right now, today, start working on your plan. You certainly can. I've walked you through my hypothetical plan. It's just hypothetical. Because I don't want nobody saying I told him nothing. I'm telling you what my hypothetical plan is. You got to come up with your own. But I recommend you do that. I recommend you do that. Because if you don't, you're going to work for somebody for the rest of your life. And you're going to look back and say, goodness gracious, I wish I had more time. I wish I had more choices in my life. I wish I had more freedom. Now, wouldn't that be sad when you're at the end of your life and you start reflecting back on your life and those three things come in your mind and you said, I wish I had more of them. When right now you can have more. You can make a difference right now, but you got to act. You cannot allow fear or pride or greed to get in your way. If you don't act today, guys, when will you act? Some of us will never act, and that's a shame. Because in this country, with all of its flaws, guys, and we got a lot of them, there is no better country in the world to control those three things: time, freedom, choices. There is no other place in the world than this place to be able to do those three things. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what your gender is. I don't care what you identify as. Don't matter. Don't matter in this country. You know what matters in this country? Effort and attitude. That's what matters in this country. That separates the ones that get to that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow and those that don't. It all comes down to effort and attitude. You choose today which one you gonna go down. Appreciate y'all. I'm gonna get on out of here, man. Like I said, get down that description box and check out the Moo link. Like I said, them good folks at Moo got some goodies down there for you. Up to $1,100 in cash reward / NVIDIA stock shares. Get down the description box and check it out, man. Click on that first link, get all the details. Again, we come back to what? Attitude and effort. We come back to execute or not execute. See what I'm saying? This is how we are in America. Oh, that ain't real. That ain't real. Okay, then keep going. Keep doing what you're doing, and you will keep getting what you get. Promise you that. Keep doing what you're doing, activity-wise, and I promise you, you will get the same results you've been getting. You want different results, you better switch up your activities, guys. I keep telling y'all that. Like I said, get down there and check out that Moo link. Check out the Wealth Builders. If you want to rock with me and have more one-on-one direct conversations with me, join the Wealth Builders. Second link. That's all I can tell you. We got 2,000 people over there already. So you can stay in the matrix or you can come join us, or you'll just do nothing. Most Americans just do nothing. Most Americans do nothing and just complain. Complain and do nothing. If you want to be in that boat, go right ahead. You got plenty of company. But those of us that say, no, I ain't going to complain. I'm going to execute. I'm going to be decisive. I'm going to put my plan together. I'm going to get to my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I'm going to get to my never work again scenario. Kudos to you, man. That's your first step. First step. Remember them 4 boxes. I'm at box 3, checked. I'm working on 4. You got to figure out where you're at. What boxes you got checked. If you got none checked, it ain't too late. Get started. Stop by the channel for the first time. Please consider subscribing, share the video, smash the like button. Thoughts become things. If you can see it in your mind, hold it in your hands. You guys keep chasing your greatness. Never stop believing in yourself. Stay healthy, get wealthy. Catch you on the next video. Peace.